2 states, 1 night, 0 sleep. Kyle Larson just pulled off a stunt so wild that 10,000 strangers stopped what they were doing to track his airplane in real time. He raced 400 laps in NASCAR's biggest series. Then jumped in a jet no stay de jour and landed on the pole of the most prestigious sprint car race in America before the sun came up. If you think you know what dedication looks like, you don't. Not yet. Saturday night, Kyle Larson was supposed to be in exactly one place, Richmond Raceway, running the Cookout 400 for Hendrick Motorsports. The Knoxville Nationals, the crown jewel of sprint car racing, was happening at the same time 800 miles away in Iowa. Larson had already locked in the pole for that race after a preliminary night win, but the calendar said it was impossible for him to actually show up. Then a rainstorm hit Iowa. The Knoxville schedule got pushed back hours, and suddenly a door that was supposed to be permanently shut cracked open. Larson finished the Richmond race 6th, climbing from a 30th place start. Then he sprinted to his plane, flew straight to Iowa, and made it to Knoxville Raceway just in time to line up for the biggest sprint car race of his career. To understand why this moment hit so hard, you have to understand what Larson actually gave up to try this. He's the reigning NASCAR Cup Series champion. He didn't need to chase a dirt track race on the same night as a points-paying Cup event. Nobody in the sport would have questioned him for skipping Knoxville entirely. That was the safe, expected, professional move. But Larson's relationship with racing has never been about doing the safe thing. He already has 3 Knoxville Nationals titles under his belt, 2021, 23, and 2024. He co-owns a sprint car series. He builds his entire offseason and free time around dirt racing, even while carrying the pressure of a full Cup Series championship push. This wasn't a publicity stunt. This is just who he is, and his team knew it. Crew Chief Cliff Daniels was already coordinating logistics mid-race, arranging food, transportation, and a flight plan, while Larson was still turning laps at Richmond. That's not something you throw together last minute. That's an organization built around the idea that when Larson wants to chase something, you help him chase it. Let's break down what actually happened here, because the logistics alone are borderline absurd. Larson finished a physically brutal 400-lap Cup race, one of the most demanding events in motorsports, both mentally and physically. Then instead of resting, hydrating properly, or decompressing, he got on a plane almost immediately and prepared to strap into a completely different machine, a sprint car, a vehicle with an entirely different feel, different reaction time, and a much higher margin for disaster on dirt. From a pure performance standpoint, this is a massive risk. Fatigue affects reaction time. Sprint car racing punishes even the smallest lapse in focus. Drivers have been seriously hurt doing far less strenuous versions of this kind of quick turnaround. But here's what makes this genuinely impressive instead of reckless. Larson has done this exact type of double before. His body and mind are conditioned for these transitions in a way most drivers simply aren't. That experience is what separates dangerous gamble from calculated risk executed by someone who is trained for exactly this scenario. Strategically, starting from the pole changes everything for him at Knoxville. He doesn't have to fight through traffic exhausted. He doesn't have to make risky passes on tired legs. He gets a clean track and a straight shot at the lead from lap 1. That's the best possible outcome for a driver who just spent his night doing the equivalent of 2 full-time jobs back to back. Is this smart or dangerous? Honestly, it's both. And that tension is exactly why it's must watch. The reaction split into 2 emotional lanes almost instantly. NASCAR fans were stunned that a reigning Cup champion would risk this level of physical strain on a non-point sprint car race. Some analysts openly question whether the fatigue factor could bite him during Knoxville itself. But on the other side, sprint car and dirt racing fans treated this like a folk hero moment. This is a community that has always respected drivers who show up, who grind, who don't treat dirt racing as a side hobby beneath their real job. Watching a NASCAR champion sprint off a plane in the middle of the night just to make the show hit differently for that audience. And then there was the flight tracker itself. Over 10,000 people online were watching a single airplane icon crawl across a map, refreshing constantly, just to see if he'd land in time. Knoxville Raceway put it on the Jumbotron. That's not normal sports fan behavior. That's the kind of moment that turns into a story people repeat for years. Best case, Larson rides the adrenaline and the clean air from the pole straight to his 4th Knoxville Nationals title, cementing himself as arguably the most versatile racer of his generation, and adding another legendary chapter to a career already overflowing with them. Worst case, the fatigue catches up mid-race. A slower reaction time on unforgiving dirt costs him time, position, or worse. A costly mistake that turns an incredible story into a cautionary one about pushing the human body past its limits. Either way, this becomes one of the defining storylines of his 2026 season, so here's the real question. Is this the kind of move that defines a legend, or is it a warning sign about how far drivers are willing to push themselves for glory? Drop your take in the comments. Are you team Larson is built different, or team this was too risky? If this story hit you the way it hit us, smash that subscribe button so you never miss the next one. We'll see you in the next video.